Hello, it's Rev Steve, and it's nice to see you all.
Who are you talking to?
The boys and girls from Primrose Lane, of course. Look.
Where do they all come from?
They've been there all the time. We're joining them today to share the first of 4 assemblies, all about light and Advent and Christmas.
How are we going to do that then?
Well, I thought we could do it using 4 candles.
4 candles?
Yes, that's right, 4 candles.
How is that going to help them learn about light and Advent and Christmas?
Don't worry, it'll all become clear. Now, if you could just pop along and get me 4 candles, please. Anyway, while he's gone, has anyone started getting ready for Christmas yet? Have you written a list of things you'd like for Christmas, or thought about what you might get for other people? Ah, you're back.
Well, I can only find one.
What are you doing with that?
You told me to get a 4 candle.
No, I asked you to get 4 candles.
Oh, what, you mean like...
Oh dear, perhaps we should start again. Hello, I'm Rev Steve and this is Donald, and we're here to help you get ready for Christmas. And we're going to be talking about light and the 4 candles on the Advent wreath. At this time of year, when the days are short and the nights are long, and everything feels dark and dreary, many of the world's different religions have festivals that celebrate light. The Hindus, Sikhs, Jains and Buddhists have a festival of lights, which is called Diwali. And it's the most important festival celebrated by the Hindus, as it marks the beginning of the Hindu New Year and celebrates the victory of light over darkness and the triumph of good over evil. Now, Diwali is celebrated over 5 days, and it takes place in late October or early November. You see, it starts 2 days after the new moon comes up, and so this year it started on the 12th of November. The word Diwali means a row of lights, and at Diwali it is tradition to decorate and light up the homes, to visit the local temple for prayers, and to share meals with family and friends. And children get small gifts and sweets. Lighting candles, oil lamps and sparklers are the main custom of this festival. Sometimes there are fireworks too, and they use special lamps like these, which are called diyas. They are candle holders or clay lamps, and they are used for decoration. The Jewish festival of light is called Hanukkah, and it takes place in December. And this year it will start on the 10th of December and it will last for 8 days. Now, Hanukkah is celebrated using a special candle holder like this. It's called a Hanukkah menorah. It has 8 candles and an extra one in the middle. And on the first day, the middle candle is lit, and then one of the candles is lit from it. And then on the second day, 2 candles are lit, and so on until the 8th day, when all 8 candles will be burning. And it's always the candles are lit from the middle one, which is called the servant candle. Well, why 8 days, you ask? Well, a long time ago, Jerusalem was ruled by the Greeks, and they used the Jewish temple to worship their gods. And a man named Matthias led a rebel group who managed to defeat the Greeks, and they got their temple back. And so to celebrate, they lit the temple lampstand, which used to be lit all the time, never going out. But they only had enough oil to burn for 1 day, and it would take 8 days for new oil to arrive. Now, that lamp actually burned for 8 days, which they believed was a miracle, And so the 8-day-long festival of Hanukkah is to remember that miracle, as well as the triumph of light over darkness, good over evil. Which brings us back to the Advent Wreath, which Christians use to mark the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas. It's a bit like the way we use an Advent calendar to mark the days leading up to Christmas, opening a different door each day, sometimes getting a chocolate. As with Diwali and Hanukkah, light is the important thing. We light a candle each week for 4 weeks as we move towards Christmas, and finally we light a special middle candle on Christmas Day. And when we light each candle, we think about 4 different things: hope, peace, joy and love. And for the next 4 weeks, Donald and I are going to tell you something about each one. But for now, why do you think that light is celebrated at this time of year? Well, Donald is going to show you.
I've come out into the garden because I want us to try a little experiment. And I need to use a 4 candle, yes, to dig over the earth in this pot. Would you all please make sure you're sitting safely and close your eyes really, really tight. And keep them closed until I say. Okay, all closed? Now, wrap your arms around yourself, like you're giving yourself a really big, tight hug. Really, really tight. Right, now I want you to use your imagination, thinking inside your head. Keep your eyes closed. Imagine that you're a tiny, tiny seed that's been planted deep into the earth. What's it like in there? I think it'll be very, very dark and very, very quiet. There are some good things in the dark. There's water, which seeds need. You won't be able to get up and run around, and you don't feel like doing much. But even in the dark, seeds start to grow. So maybe give your fingers a little wiggle. Now, very slowly, open your eyes. Remember, you're a seed. What happens when you come out into the light? You start to grow. It's called photosynthesis. So slowly, stop hugging yourself and stretch your arms up in the air and wiggle your fingers like crazy. Excellent. Doesn't that feel better? Out in the light, you can move, you can grow, and you can flourish. Light is good, and just like plants, we need it. And that is why every year we give thanks to God for light.
Thank you, Donald. For Christians, light has a special meaning. At one time, Jesus was sitting in the temple. That's a building a bit like a church where they went to pray to God. He was sitting there talking to a group of people when he says something that sounded a bit weird. He told them, "I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." But what do you think he meant by that? Well, if you put your hands up, maybe your teacher will jot down some of your ideas and then let Donald and me know later on. I'll give you a minute to tell your teacher your ideas. So, did you come up with any good ideas? See, I think what Jesus was telling them was that if they listened to him and followed his ways, then they could have hope for the future. And what is hope? Well, if you were to get up very early in the morning, it would still be dark, but it would still be slowly getting lighter. You can't see the sun yet, but it's coming. And if you keep watching, the sun will eventually come up over the horizon, flooding the world and you with light and warmth. That is hope, waiting in the darkness for the sun. The sun comes up every morning, even when it's cloudy and we don't see it. And we're all going through dark times at the moment because of the coronavirus pandemic. Life is difficult and it's strange, but we have hope that it will come to an end and we can get back to normal. Life doesn't always go the way we'd like it, but there's hope to be found in the love of family and friends and in knowing Jesus. And that's what Jesus was telling those people, and it's what he tells us too. He gives us hope for the future. So it's time now to light our first candle on our Advent wreath, the candle of hope. Now, you haven't got a candle to light, but you will have a picture of an Advent wreath for you to colour in. And so for this first week, can you colour in the wreath and the one hope candle? And we can leave the other candles to be coloured in over each of the next weeks. So we're going to light our first candle now, and then Sam and Holly are going to sing an Advent song.
He came down that we might have hope. He came down that we might have hope. He came down that we might have hope. Hallelujah forevermore.
Shall we say a prayer together? Jesus, you are the light of the world, bringing a promise that even in the dark there is hope. Help us to be lights that shine in our families, in our school, and in our village. Amen.
Amen. Well, that's it for this week. We hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Next week, we're going to be looking at the peace candle. And until then, have fun colouring in your candle picture. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.